they went and they went to the kingdom of the Bhaumasura demon. He was the son of the Mother Earth. And his palace was protected by these fortifications. There was a great demon named Mora demon who had 5 heads. And he had arranged for, there was a poison gas, there was like an electrical, there were all different things, a barbed wire fence, and there were all these different, like 5 different kinds of obstacles to get through, to pass, to get into the palace. And Garuda and Lord Krishna just cut through everything. And the Mora demon came out, blazing, like he was so bright, and his anger was so furious that he was difficult to look at. And he let out a roaring sound with his mouths, 5 mouths. And he sent a trident at Krishna, but Krishna just took a couple of arrows and he just threw them at the trident. He didn't even put them in his bow. He just, with a trick of his hand, he chopped up the trident with his arrows. And then the Mora demon came at him with a big club. And then with Krishna's club, he broke the Mora demon's club into pieces. So the Mora demon was without weapons. And he started roaring with his 5 mouths. Oh, Krishna had also pierced his mouths with his arrows. But he could still roar like a lion with his 5 mouths, and went to attack Krishna with his body without any weapons. And then Krishna just cut off his 5 heads with his disc. They're riding with Garuda. So then the Mora demon's sons came and attacked Krishna, and Krishna defeated them, and finally Bhaumasura came out of his palace to fight, and he had special weapons. He hurled one weapon that could kill, well, Krishna was way up in the sky, like a cloud, and Satyabhama was just sitting there watching everything going on, and he shot a weapon that could kill hundreds of, like a whole army at one time, like a big, like nuclear weapon or something. And Krishna was able to counteract that weapon very easily, and eventually he killed the Bhaumasura. And then Bhaumasura's mother, Mother Earth, remember, she had prayed for Krishna to come to earth to relieve the earth of its different demons. But she was the mother of this. This demon wasn't living on earth, he was living up in some part of the celestial, like on one side of Mount Meru somewhere. And she came and she offered prayers to Krishna, and she brought Krishna her grandson, Bhaumasura's son, and she said that I want you to relieve him of his father's sinful qualities and make him your devotee and protect him from the harm that may come because his father was such a terrible demon that attacked you and everything. So Krishna just blessed him, don't worry. He told Mother Earth, don't worry, you'll be protected from all danger. And he went into the palace where this Bhaumasura and Narakasura had kidnapped 16,100 princesses. And then Krishna liberated the princesses, but they all wanted to marry him. They said, who's going to marry us if you don't marry us? And Krishna said, yes, I want to marry you, and made them all very happy. So that's how he married so many wives, and took them back to Dwarka and built them each a palace. Actually, there was 900,000 palaces in Dwarka. But then when they were on their way back, Satyabhama wanted the Parijata flower. And Lord Indra said, no, this flower doesn't go to earth, it stays in heaven. You can't have a Parijata flower on earth. But Krishna took the whole bush, a living Parijata bush. And Indra actually tried to put up a fight with him. And Krishna defeated Indra and came back to earth and let Satyabhama have a Parijata tree in her palace. So I thought today I would read something from the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra from Srimad Bhagavatam. And even though in Diwali we're remembering how after he conquered Lanka and left everything in charge of Vibhishana, And he got back on a flower chariot flying through the sky. And as he came back to Ayodhya, then all the devotees lit his way with deepas. And but that particular description isn't mentioned here in Srimad Bhagavatam, but it does mention how he was received as he returned into the city. And then I wanted to read a particular part later on from his pastimes about how when he was ruling the kingdom and how he left. So I'd like to read from Canto 9, Chapter 11, text number 18. And we'll read a few purports and discuss. We can remember the pastimes of Lord Rama, which were also mentioned in the song we just sang. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the song by Jayadev Goswami? You all know who Jayadev Goswami was, right? He wrote so many of the songs, Gita Govinda and so much. It's a nice song, isn't it? I don't know why they didn't. I guess they just didn't have room to put it in this songbook, but we used to sing it in the old days. Yeah. And how it brings us happiness to sing about the glories of Krishna. That's really what we're meant to do, is glorify Krishna. Narada Muni says that all the different aspects of cultivation of knowledge, such as austerity and study of the Vedas and offering of sacrifices and giving of charity, the learned persons have concluded that they all culminate in singing glorious songs about Uttama Shloka. Poetry, ultimately poetry. Yes? The title of the song, we always just call it Shrita Kamala, that's the first words, but is there a title up here that, you know the song, right? Yeah, they call it Shrita Kamala. It's official Mangala Geetam. Official name, Mangala Geetam, from Gita Govinda. So, the auspicious song. Okay, do we have text 18? I'm going to read quite a bit, and maybe we can stop. And people, please raise your hands if you hear anything that you want to discuss in the reading. It's from a little later on in the pastimes after Lord Ramachandra has come back and has banished Sita, and he's ruling the kingdom. And after he hears that Sita's gone into the earth. Tata Urdvam Brahmacharyam Dharyan Ajuhot Prabhu Trayodasha. Let's see. Abda Sahasram Agnihotram Akhanditam Tata Urdvang Brahmacharyam Dharyan Ajuhot Prabhu Trayodashabda Sahasram Agnihotram Akhanditam Tata Urdvang Brahmacharyam Dharyan Ajuhot Prabhu Trayodashabda Sahasram Agnihotram Akhanditam. Someone else chant, please. Go ahead. Tata Urdvam Brahmacharyam
Dharyan Ajuhot Prabhu
Ajuhot Prabhu
त्रयोदशब्दसहस्रम् अग्निहोत्रम् अखण्डितम्
Tata urdhvam brahmacharyam Dharyam ajuhot prabhu Trayodashabdha sahasram Agnihotram akhanditam
Tata urvam brahmacharyam Daryanaju prabhu Trayodashabda sahasram Agnihotram akhanditam
Tata urdhvam brahmacharyam
Dharyam ajuhot prabhu
Daryan ajuhot prabhu
Trayodashabda sahasram Agnihotram akhanditam
Tata urdhvam brahmacharyam Dharyan ajuhot prabhu Trayodashabda sahasram Agnihotram
akhanditam. Word meanings. Tataha, thereafter. Urdhvam, after Mother Sita is going into the earth. Brahmacharyam, complete celibacy. Dharayan, observing. Ajuhot, performed a ritualistic ceremony and sacrifice. Prabhu, Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra, sorry. Trayodasha abda sahasram, for 13,000 years. Agnihotram, the sacrifice known as Agnihotra Yagya. Akhanditam, without ceasing. Translation. After Mother Sita entered the earth, Lord Ramachandra observed complete celibacy and performed an uninterrupted Agnihotra Yagya for 13,000 years. Smaratang hridi vinyasya vidhang. Okay, let's repeat, please. Smaratam hridi vinyasya vidhang dandaka kantakai swapada pallavang rama atma jyotiragattataha. After completing the sacrifice, Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet were sometimes pierced by thorns when he lived in the Dandakaranya, placed those lotus feet in the hearts of those who always think of him. Then he entered his own abode, the Vaikuntha planet beyond the Brahmajyoti. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The lotus feet of the Lord are always a subject matter for meditation for devotees. Sometimes when Lord Ramachandra wandered in the forest of Dandakaranya, thorns pricked his lotus feet. The devotees, upon thinking of this, would faint. The Lord does not feel pain or pleasure from any action or reaction of this material world, but the devotees cannot tolerate even the pricking of the Lord's lotus feet by a thorn. This was the attitude of the gopis when they thought of Krishna wandering in the forest, with pebbles and grains of sand pricking his lotus feet. This tribulation in the heart of a devotee cannot be understood by karmis, jnanis, or yogis. The devotees, who could not tolerate even thinking of the Lord's lotus feet being pricked by a thorn, were again put into tribulation by thinking of the Lord's disappearance. For the Lord had to return to his abode after finishing his pastimes in this material world. The word Atma Jyoti is significant. The Brahma Jyoti, which is greatly appreciated by the jnanis or monistic philosophers who desire to enter it for liberation, is nothing but the rays of the Lord's body. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti kotishvashesha vasudhadi vibhuti pinnam tad brahma nishkalamanantamashesha bhutang govindamadi purushang tamahang bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Brahma Samhita 540. The Brahma Jyoti is the beginning of the spiritual world, and beyond the Brahma Jyoti are the Vaikuntha planets. In other words, the Brahma Jyoti stays outside the Vaikuntha planets, just as the sunshine stays outside the sun. To enter the sun planet, one must go through the sunshine. Similarly, when the Lord or his devotees enter the Vaikuntha planets, they go through the Brahma Jyoti. The Jnanis, or monistic philosophers, because of their impersonal conception of the Lord, cannot enter the Vaikuntha planets, but they also cannot stay eternally in the Brahma Jyoti. Thus, after some time, they fall again to this material world. Aruhya kritrena prang padang tatak patantyadho nadrita yushmad angrayaha. Bhagavatam 10:2-32. The Vaikuntha planets are covered by the Brahma Jyoti, and therefore one cannot properly understand what those Vaikuntha planets are unless one is a pure devotee. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Bancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So, one point Srila Prabhupada is making here is that the Vaikuntha planets exist beyond the Brahma Jyoti, and that the Jnanis are often attracted to the Brahma Jyoti, but because of their incomplete knowledge, at least they're transcendentalists. They know that just chasing after sense gratification in this life is not the all in all. They're interested in something transcendental, something beyond this, they're interested in liberation, moksha. Just like we have, Srila Prabhupada often said, we have these universities where we have so many departments of knowledge and people are studying so many things, but they're not studying the knowledge of what is the soul, or how to end our sufferings, or what is the source of our sufferings, or any of these things. Why do we have to die? They may be finding cures for different diseases, but these are just like stopgap, solutions to immediate problems, but they don't know what real happiness is or how to become really happy. And Srila Prabhupada said there has to be a department that teaches this, and this knowledge exists, and it shouldn't just be put in the category of, oh, that's religion, you may have it or not, it's a kind of faith, some people have it, depending on their taste they have one kind or another. These are all symptoms of Kali Yuga. Maybe the religious authorities have become sometimes diminished because of this age, and therefore they quarrel with one another because of this age, and people have found that they don't listen so much to their authorities anymore because they think that their authorities can't provide good knowledge. Whereas historically the scientists, which didn't base their knowledge on just hearing from authorities but on empirical research and experimentation and so forth, they came up with some technologies that could solve different practical problems. And they have, over the last few hundred years, inherited the role of the intellectual authorities in the world. But they don't have the proper knowledge that Brahmanas have of what is the soul and what is the body, what is matter and what is spirit, and why are we suffering. When Rupa and Sanatana Goswami met Lord Chaitanya for the first time at Ramakeli, I think it was then that Sanatana Goswami first asked, who am I and why am I suffering? Maybe it was later, maybe it was in Prayag at the Dashashvamedha Ghat. But I remember he asked that, Kiami. And people think I'm a learned person. He was a great minister, the king couldn't get his business done without the advice of these two brothers. They couldn't collect the taxes or make things work properly without these very intelligent brothers who spoke many different languages, not just Sanskrit and Bengali and Hindi, but also Persian and Arabic and different languages. And they understood the customs and the traditions and religious traditions of the world. But he told Lord Chaitanya, in spite of everyone thinking that I'm such a learned person, I don't even know who I am and why I'm suffering. And this is the important kind of knowledge. So the transcendentalists, they stop becoming foolishly active about how to solve the temporary problems of how to get a better standard of food and shelter. And Srila Prabhupada used to say that an animal goes on 4 legs, a dog runs on 4 legs, and a human runs on 4 wheels, but they're running for the same thing, right? Just eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Everybody's doing that, getting some shelter, getting some, taking care of the bodily propensities. But a human can do so much more. A human can do philosophy, and with that philosophy they can actually transcend the samsara, the path of birth and death. Nevertheless, as Narada Muni instructed Vyasadeva, Naishkarmyam ityachyuta bhava varjitam nashobhate jnanam alang niranjanam, that even the freedom from the bondage of karma without a conception of the infallible absolute person, actually doesn't look very well. It's not beautiful. For the devotees, they understand that this isn't the end of knowledge. To know what is Brahman, aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman, and Brahman is transcendental to material nature, it's beyond time and space. That's not the end of everything. Therefore Srimad Bhagavatam starts Janmadyasya yatonvayad itaratas charteshva vigyaswarat. It declares that its theme, its purpose is to also discuss that absolute truth which the Vedantists discuss. Atato Brahma Jigyasa, Janmadyasya Yataha. But it goes on, Vedyo Vastavam Atra Vastu, Shivadam Tapatrayon Mulanam. No, that's the wrong verse. That's Janmadyasya Tonvayad Itratas Tars Vigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayo Tejovari Mridang Yatavinimayo Yatra Srisargo Amrisha Tamna Svena Sada Nirashtakuhakam Satyang Parang Timahi. So he's describing the absolute in more detail. It's describing the personality of Godhead, son of Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It starts like that. That the absolute truth is not something static, inactive, without energy, without form, without personality. That Srimad Bhagavatam is directed to explain the absolute truth in its feature as Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, that Bhagavan, just like everyone has their own abode, every kind of person in this material world, according to their own kind of modes of material nature, they have their native place or their home where their friends are and they're accustomed to living. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his abode is outside of this material world, and it's beyond the Brahma Jyoti, and it's in a transcendental place where there are activities going on, but they're not material activities. So the conception that for something to be not material means it can't have any form or it can't have any perceptible qualities is a mistake. There's actually transcendental form, Satchidananda Vigraha, and there's actually transcendental senses and transcendental qualities. And those are only perceived by the devotees. And Srimad Bhagavatam establishes that and proves that. So that's one thing that Srila Prabhupada is discussing in this purport, that the Lord's abode is beyond the Brahma Jyoti. It's not, and Lord Chaitanya was very strong on this point, that the monists who desire only to merge with impersonal absolute truth and consider themselves to have become God without understanding the distinction between the jiva or the small Brahman and the Param Brahman, the Vibhu, the great Brahman, the supreme Brahman, that they're making a big mistake. In fact, they're creating an offense to the Para-Brahman, to Lord Krishna, who's a person. And he was very strongly establishing this Vaishnava conclusion that it's not enough to know I am Brahman and to know that how Brahman is different from spirit, but one must know how to act as Brahman. One must know the activities of Brahman. And those activities are the activities of bhakti, yoga, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, worshipping the deity, Vandanam, offering prayers, Dasyam, becoming a servant, Sakyam, becoming a friend, Atmanivedanam, giving up one's whole self, surrendering one's whole self to Krishna, like the gopis did. So, any questions or discussions at this point of anything in this purport? Or I really like the part about how before he went back to his abode, he put his lotus feet in the hearts of all the devotees, because that's where we meditate on his lotus feet. and the devotees are concerned about his very sensitive, fine, refined lotus feet that feel even tiny little things, and the devotees want to massage his feet. Lakshmi is always massaging the feet of Lord Narayan, and then to think of how he had to go out in the forest and walk among thorns and branches and pebbles and sticks, and the gopis are thinking like that about Krishna. But meditating on his feet in general, the yogis begin, when they meditate on the form of Vishnu, they begin with the lotus feet. And Lord Kapila says that it's good to meditate on the lotus feet for a long time, and that the lotus feet are like thunderbolts that can crush mountains full of sins. So we have to remember we're servants. We have to, what do? We bow down. We don't try to stand up and see God face to face. We try to bow down to his feet and offer him some service like that. Anyone have a comment or question before we go to the next verse? Yes.
So Srila Prabhupada also mentions that the Lord doesn't feel any physical pain or pleasure, and that was like like an eye-opener, that suddenly it relates back to how Krishna says that nothing affects me in the Bhagavad Gita. So
Yeah.
I was kind of relating to that.
Yeah, he appears like a human and seems to, for example, he's very much aggrieved now to hear that Sita Devi has gone into the earth, and he performs sacrifices to set an example for everyone. But actually his relationship with Sita Devi is in the platform of eternal bliss. And so that what appears to be the suffering of separation is actually another kind of their way they express their love and experience all the different features of transcendental love. That meeting becomes much more happy when you're after a long absence. And so because the happiness of the spiritual world is dynamic, it expands itself unlimitedly through periods of separation and meeting, and separation and meeting. And the happiness in separation is actually described as more intense. The meditation is more intense. When you're meeting, you're happy and you have your beloved, but when you're separated, you feel very strongly that you can't live this way without the presence of your beloved. So the Vaishnavas are famous for, at least the followers of Lord Chaitanya are famous for experiencing these symptoms of ecstasy. Lord Chaitanya experienced the symptoms of Radharani's ecstasy, Mahabhava symptoms of changing color and having tears shooting out of their eyes and having the hair stand up and all these different teeth chattering and being stunned and unable to move. And so not that they should be imitated, but these are actual transformations of the body that take place when the devotee is experiencing that actual bhav, spiritual bhav, especially in separation or vipralambha.
Prabhuji, can I add one thing? The
Yes, please.
ultimate of that transformation is displayed with Lord Jagannatha. Like,
Lord Chaitanya, yeah.
Lord Jagannatha himself, like
Oh, Jagannath,
Jagannatha
yes,
himself.
yes.
So it's just he withdrew, the arms became short, and then his eyes became big in the pleasure of the transcendental pleasure.
So Krishna was hearing, while he was in Dwarka, he was hearing about what was going on in Vrindavan, and he was always thinking about Vrindavan. And that one time, and he heard Rohini speaking about Vrindavan, and he became stunned out of that kind of ecstasy as well. And he came into that form of Jagannath. And then Lord Chaitanya came to teach that mood of separation, to show that ultimate level of love that a devotee has for God. And he became the Lord Chaitanya's Ishtadeva. He agreed to live in Jagannath Puri and worship Lord Jagannath as his main deity. Yes.
The other prime example is Lord Hanuman. So wherever there is Ram Katha, Sri Hanuman comes and then he's there. either in Sukshma Rupa or any kind of Rupa. Like this, I was reading this Tulsidas ji, about Saint Goswami Tulsidas, and in that pastime, basically, Hanumanji comes as a leper, and then he sits in the last row of his Ram Katha, and he comes first, and then he leaves the last, and that's how Tulsidas ji finds out that is Hanuman.
Yeah, so may Hanuman come to our humble discussion tonight and bless us with his. So let's go on to read the next verse, because we're going to get to how the devotees in Ayodhya all went back to Godhead as well. Nedang yasho raghupate sura yachnayata Lila tanor adhika samya vimukta tamnaha Raksho vadho jaladhi bandhanam ashtrapugahi King tasya shatru hanane kapayak sahayaha Translation: Lord Ramchandra's reputation for having killed Ravana with showers of arrows at the request of the demigods, and for having built a bridge over the ocean, does not constitute the factual glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, whose spiritual body is always engaged in various pastimes. Lord Ramchandra has no equal or superior, and therefore he had no need to take help from the monkeys to gain victory over Ravana. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Vedas, Svetashvatara Upanishad 6.8, Natasya karyam karanang chavidyate, natat samaschab dayakash chadrishyate, parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate, swabhaviki jnana balakriyacha. The Supreme Lord has nothing to do, and no one is found to be equal to or greater than him, for everything is done naturally and systematically by his multifarious energies. The Lord has nothing to do, natasya karyang karanang chavidyate. Whatever he does is his pastime. The Lord has no duty to perform to oblige anyone. Nonetheless, he appears to act to protect his devotees or kill his enemies. Of course, no one can be the Lord's enemy, since who could be more powerful than the Lord? There is actually no question of anyone's being his enemy. But when the Lord wants to take pleasure in pastimes, he comes down to this material world and acts like a human being, thus showing his wonderful, glorious activities to please the devotees. His devotees always want to see the Lord victorious in varied activities. And therefore, to please himself and them, the Lord sometimes agrees to act as a human being and perform wonderful, uncommon pastimes for the satisfaction of the devotees. So, Lord Ramachandra performs these wonderful pastimes, like creating a bridge by floating stones on the ocean. And Lord Krishna picks up Govardhan Hill with one, when he's 7 years old, with one finger. And these are wonderful pastimes that no one else can do. When people are thinking that they know so many incarnations, so many people are coming and claiming to be incarnations, the Mayavadis sometimes claim that because God is one and everyone is God, that because they realize that they should be considered personality of Godhead, or something like that. But actually they can't do wonderful activities. When the Lord comes, he does amazing things. But we should understand that for him, none of this is very wonderful. Just like Lord Krishna was describing in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, how he was appearing by his various awesome, beautiful, powerful, opulent manifestations in this world. And we could think of him in that way, how whatever is fabulous and amazing. But he says that by just one spark of my energy, Mama Tejwangsha Sambhava. The whole universe is created. Not to mention all the amazing things in the universe. And then of course in the following chapter he shows how the whole universe is just another one of his forms. And not even the more beautiful form. So, if we try to understand who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, that he performs these wonderful pastimes that captures our minds and attracts us. Everything about him is attractive. His holy name, his forms, his activities, his relationships, the mellows of his devotional service and so forth are very, very attractive. But he's not a material person at all. He's the source of everything, and everything belongs to him. For the purpose of making his lila go and his intimate devotees love him in an intimate way, his yoga maya covers their knowledge of his supreme power. Just like Mother Yashoda is seeing the whole universe inside his mouth, but she doesn't want to see it. She just tells him to close his mouth, and she instructs him not to eat dirt because she wants to love him as his mother, like that. And he wants to be loved that way. He actually enjoys that more. We sing that song every evening in this month, the song Damodar Ashtakam, where the sage, which sage is it? Damodar? Satyavrata Muni? So he's singing that he doesn't want to even know the Lord's form in Vaikuntha. He certainly doesn't want to pray for any opulences, but he just wants to see how this amazing pastime of how Lord Krishna is running away from his mother and actually crying and smearing his mascara and being bound by the affection of the devotee's love to actually feel that way. One time, the gopis were feeling separation from Krishna, and he appeared before them as Narayana, and they only wanted to see Krishna. In fact, Radharani's love was so strong that he couldn't even remain as Narayana. He had to change back into Krishna. This verse is describing how these wonderful pastimes of Lord Ramachandra are his pastimes, what he does to enjoy himself. Krishna says in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva chakarmani. He says that even though I don't have to do anything, I don't have any obligation, I don't have any mission to fulfill, I didn't come here because of my past karma, and I don't have any particular duty to anyone. But nevertheless, I do perform activities, and I set a good example. Especially when he came as Lord Rama, he set a perfect example of an ideal human being, an ideal king. And he set the example of taking only one wife. You know, it was the case that people took other wives. His father Dasharatha took other wives, but it got him into some trouble. But Lord Rama, he only took one wife. And when he was kidnapped, he didn't just go marry some other wife. He actually went through all this. Of course, for him it was simple, but he made it, for us to become attracted. He had to go make the alliances with the monkeys and build an army and go and build a bridge and go kill Ravana. But he could have killed Ravana. Sita could have just killed Ravana like that. But this is how he's pleasing himself, and he's also pleasing the devotees who giving us something to meditate on, some wonderful... we never get tired of hearing. Vayam tu navatriptama uttama shloka vartaye. We don't get tired of hearing about Krishna's pastimes. Sometimes people will say, did you go see that Broadway musical or that whatever, that movie or something? And someone said, well, I already saw it, I don't want to see it again. Or did you read that novel? Oh, I already read that. I don't want to read it. I know what happens. But Krishna's pastimes aren't like that. King Parikshit is so amazed hearing Shukadev Goswami speak that in the beginning of the 10th canto, right when he speaks and reveals Krishna's pastimes, Shukadev, King Parikshit says, Nivrittatar Shaya Rupagiya Mana Bhavo Chadas Shrotra. What is it? You say it. 10.1.4. So he says that who could refuse to hear these wonderful stories told by a person who is completely free from material contamination? Go ahead.
Nivrittatarshya rupagiyamanaad
Nivrittatarshaya rupagiyamanaad
Bhavashato chotra manobhiramat
Bhavoshatach chotra manobhiramat
Ka uttama shloka gunanuvadhat
Ka uttama shloka gunanuvadat
Puman virajyeta vina pashuknat
Puman virajyeta vina pashugnat. Translation.
Glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Parampara system. That is, it is conveyed from the spiritual master to the disciple. Such glorification is relished by those no longer interested in the false, temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. Descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self?
So that's how excited that Parikshit Maharaj was upon hearing. He was hearing with such attention that he didn't drink or sleep or eat anything for 7 days and nights. He was just hearing. And Shukadev Goswami was also in such rapt attention that he was continually speaking. And these glorious activities, that's our real nature. That's bhakti yoga, hearing and chanting and remembering that glorification, singing the song by Jayadeva Goswami, remembering the Lord's glorious pastimes, activities and qualities, is actually what brings us all auspiciousness and all happiness. And that's what we're meant to do. And that's why Srila Prabhupada established this Society for Krishna Consciousness, so that we could make friendships with other devotees and take advantage of the opportunity to speak about Krishna with faithful devotees together and in having these transcendental relationships with each other. That's what we're... just like, think about it, people, first of all, they have the hard struggle for existence, right? There's the material elements. You need to make things more comfortable for your life so that you don't catch cold and die. You have to have a house, you have to have enough food to eat, maybe put in some crops and put in some whatever, do something. But then when you've got it all, like Prabhupada would say, a billionaire, what can he still eat for breakfast? He has 2 chapatis, 2 pieces of toast. How much more can he eat than anybody else, And what they finally do is they've made all this money to relax. They put a movie theater in their house, and then they have to watch some mundane movies that are mostly just about people fighting with each other or people falling in love, and then, whatever they are, spies and war movies or, the different kinds of things or dramas. But they're not satisfying. I remember my grandfather was dying. He was doing dialysis, and he had an aneurysm that they had to operate on. He didn't survive the operation, and I would take him every day to, he had to get his blood purified outside his body in a machine because his kidneys weren't working, and so he'd have to sit there, and he was saying, "Oh, just let nature take its course. I don't even want the operation." He didn't relish living anymore. He was an atheist. He told me that when you die, that's it. There's no more consciousness. You're just, And he was kind of looking forward to that. And I said, well, they have you here in the hospital. They have all these channels on TV, and you can watch any movie you want. And he said, I don't want any. I've seen the movies and they don't give me any pleasure anymore. But he didn't know how to relish the pastimes of Krishna. If he could have seen that, that would, I mean, what do we really need to do? That we've invented all these art forms like literature and dramas, plays, musical performances and dance performances to try to elevate our mind, our consciousness, or satisfy our mind. And that's ultimately, in Bhakti Yoga we can do that. Lord Chaitanya brought us a process of spiritual realization that's just about singing and dancing. But it's the right singing and the right dancing. It's not just glorifying the activities of animals, eating, sleeping, and mating and defending. So many movies are just people shooting at each other, right? The action movies. They're fighting, eating, sleeping, mating, and fighting. So they're falling in love, But it's not satisfying. Whereas glorifying Lord Rama, this is very, very satisfying for those who've developed the ability to relish these pastimes. And to do that, we have to control our senses a little bit and avoid getting entangled in bad habits that just attach us to material consciousness, lower consciousness. So let's go on. Yasya malang ripasatak suyasho tunapi Gayantyaghagam rashayo dig ibhindrapattam Tangna kapala vasupala kirita jushta Padam bujang raghupating sharanang prapadye Lord Ramachandra's spotless name and fame, which vanquish all sinful reactions, are celebrated in all directions, like the ornamental cloth of the victorious elephant that conquers all directions. Great saintly persons like Markandeya Rishi still glorify his characteristics in the assemblies of great emperors like Maharaj Yudhishthir. Similarly, all the saintly kings and all the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, worship the Lord by bowing down with their helmets. Let me offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. So ya exprishto abhidrishto va sangvishto nugatopi va kosalaste yuksthanam yatra gachanti yoginaha. Lord Ramachandra returned to his abode, to which bhakti yogis are promoted. This is the place to which all the inhabitants of Ayodhya went after they served the Lord in his manifest pastimes by offering him obeisances, touching his lotus feet, fully observing him as a father-like king, sitting or lying down with him like equals, or even just accompanying him. Purport. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4:9, Janma karma chame divyam evang yoveti tatvataha tyaktva dehang punar janma nayati mam eti so Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Here this is confirmed. All the inhabitants of Ayodhya who saw Lord Ramachandra as citizens, served him as servants, sat and talked with him as friends, or were somehow or other present during his reign, went back home, back to Godhead. After giving up the body, the devotee who becomes perfect in devotional service enters that particular universe where Lord Ramachandra or Lord Krishna is engaged in his pastimes. Then, after being trained to serve the Lord in various capacities in that Prakata Lila, the devotee is finally promoted to Sanatan Dhama, the supreme abode in the spiritual world. This Sanatan Dham is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha. One who enters the transcendental pastimes of the Lord is called Nitya Lila Pravishta. To understand clearly why Lord Ramachandra returned, it is mentioned herewith that the Lord went to that particular place where bhakti yogis go. The impersonalists misunderstand the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam to mean that the Lord entered his own effulgence and therefore became impersonal. But the Lord is a person, and his devotees are persons. Indeed, the living entities like the Lord were persons in the past, they are persons in the present, and they will continue to be persons even after giving up the body. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. So in the beginning of Lord Krishna's instructions to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2, he says, Na tvevahang jatu nasang na tvang neme janadipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatak. So Srila Prabhupada points out that Krishna is saying, me, you, and them, right? First person, second person, third person. We never didn't exist in the past. We won't stop existing in the present, and nor will it come to be that we stop existing in the future. So past, present, and future. So this verse establishes, and Srila Prabhupada uses this verse to establish the eternal individuality of each individual jiva. That Krishna is an individual, the jiva is an individual. It's not that we ourselves have, like the Mayavadis say that, when the same sky is within a pot, then it's still the same sky, but it's within a pot, and if you break the pot, it just becomes part of the sky and it doesn't have any separate existence. But Srila Prabhupada says, the analogy doesn't make any sense. We're not pots, right? And this is not a actual Vedic injunction. This is made up by commentators, this idea of the pots. That's to satisfy, because they have atheistic tendencies or they don't have this information about how we have an eternal existence as Krishna's servants in the spiritual world. And so here we're seeing that Lord Ramachandra, he went back to the place where the bhakti yogis go, that is the spiritual world, where they have eternal loving relationships with him. And then all of the residents of Ayodhya who had an opportunity, Srila Prabhupada explains, after one becomes perfect in devotional service, one doesn't go directly to the unmanifest Leela of the Lord, but you go to some universe where the Lord is present, performing his pastimes. And you get to stay on the same planet with the Lord while he's performing his pastimes. And that in itself is a kind of liberation. There's 5 kinds of liberation. There's Sharshti, having the opulence of the Lord, and Sarupya, having the same form as the Lord, Slokya, being on the same planet, Samipya, being in his direct association, and Sayujya means merging into his impersonal effulgence, which is never accepted as liberation by Vaishnavas. It's considered a hellish condition. Hey, Haribol Ananta. So we're reminded to go to that spiritual world. First we go to the abode where Krishna is performing his activities. And then when we perfect our relationship with him even a little more, then we can actually enter into his Leela. We won't stand out there. We'll know the etiquette of how to treat everyone and how to live in that transcendental. We have to understand Janma karma chame divyam. We understand this not just by philosophically reasoning about it, but actually experiencing how our lives in devotional service are also transcendental. And we have to move toward that abode which is self-effulgent. Right? Tamasir mam jyotirgama. We have to go to the light of that spiritual world where Krishna says, Na tad bhasyate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha. There's no need for the sun or the moon or fire there, electric lighting or anything like that. That everything is transcendently bright already, because that's the nature of spirit. This material darkness is because we're covered by these layers of the universe of earth, fire, water, air, and so forth. And so we only get some light from the sun. But the spiritual world, there's no need of sun there or moon or any other bright body. That everything is self-effulgent and everything is eternal, and there's no there's no actual distress there. There's no old age and disease and death and the other things that trouble us because we're trying. We have this false conception of what our happiness should be, and our real happiness comes from glorifying Krishna's qualities, Lord Ramachandra's wonderful qualities and pastimes, and he wants us to have that happiness. And it comes as Lord Chaitanya. And he teaches us that just by chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That just by chanting this mantra we can attain that perfection and that love of Krishna. And there's even one of these purports in this same chapter somewhere, I think a little bit earlier. Srila Prabhupada says that this chanting is so nice. Even if you have some bad habits, you can't give up all your bad habits right away. If you keep chanting, you'll be able to give up your bad habits. Srila Prabhupada explains that. So he was just the mission, the spokesperson or the missionary of this chanting of Hare Krishna. He's just telling us all, just chant Hare Krishna. Everything will become better about your life if you chant Hare Krishna. And you'll also attain an actual perfect life. That's possible. You know, there's saying, the common saying is in English is nobody's perfect. But actually that's not correct. We can become perfect by chanting Hare Krishna. We can actually perceive what perfection is. Not just a matter of belief in some doctrine or, becoming a member of some faith, but actually by directly perceiving it. Just like Srila Prabhupada said, when you feed a hungry man, you don't have to tell him how he's becoming satisfied by eating. And similarly, when you're chanting Hare Krishna and surrendering to Krishna, you can actually experience bliss and spiritual knowledge and detachment from material enjoyment. Hare Krishna. So now we have about 10-15 minutes to talk among ourselves and discuss comments and questions, takeaways, anything that anybody heard or wanted to elaborate more on. And welcome everybody to ISKCON of Silicon Valley on Diwali, a very auspicious day, when you're taking advantage to sit amongst ourselves and talk about the pastimes of the personality of Godhead. Previously we talked about how Lord Krishna killed the demon Narakasura and married 16,100 wives. And now we're talking some about how Lord Ramachandra lived in Ayodhya, ruled his kingdom, and took all the devotees, all the residents of Ayodhya back to the spiritual world with him, which is a place full of spiritual activities and emotions, and it's not a static, becoming merging just with a inactive. Yes.
Prabhuji, thank you for the nice talk. Actually, it was a lot of good points. One of the points which I liked was you quoted 2:1-2, that in which Krishna says that never was there a time these kings didn't exist, and never was there a time I didn't exist. So you quoted this verse for proving that Lord is a person, and even we are persons actually. So there are
eternally.
many eternally. And then there are many references wherein we can prove from Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is a person. But then I was thinking, but this particular reference tells us, okay, we are also persons. And then actually there is individuality among everyone actually. Everyone is individual. So thank you for bringing that up actually.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada preached on that point a lot. I don't know whether it's something that common that all the acharyas have been speaking, or whether this was something that Srila Prabhupada especially contributed. But I haven't heard the argument from others. Of course, Srila Prabhupada told us that I'm just giving you what I've heard from my spiritual master exactly without changing anything. But he still emphasized this point that we are eternal individuals. All of us are eternally individuals, and Krishna is also eternally an individual, and that in the spiritual world it's not that we stop our individuality. Our acharyas do say that it's like when a flock of green parrots enter into a green tree, they seem to merge with the tree, but there actually remain individual parrots in the green tree. And similarly, when we enter into spiritual kingdom, we also remember everything is Brahman, we're Brahman, and there's no distinctions in Brahman, but at the same time there's a kind of distinctions. So that's inconceivable how something is non-different and at the same time different. That's Lord Chaitanya's slogan of his Vedanta philosophy, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. So yes, we are eternally individuals, and Srila Prabhupada strongly established that point through this verse, 2nd chapter, verse number 12 of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, on a slightly different topic, I wanted to seek your guidance on drawing the balance between work and spiritual life. I think many of us grow up putting a lot of emphasis on work, and that many times interferes with the devotional practice. So how do we draw the balance between work and family and spiritual life? Would like to seek some of your guidance on that.
Well, it's a good question, and I can tell you from my own experience that when I joined the Hare Krishna movement, a lot of us, we just moved into ashrams. I was trying to be a brahmachari. I had been raised in the West, and we didn't have that so much, that balance. I met Prabhupada, and I didn't care whether I would ever have any money or ever have a good career or anything like that. I just was going out we were all together doing that, all the devotees. But that's not sustainable. And Krishna doesn't ask Arjuna to become a sannyasi in Bhagavad Gita. He tells him to conquer and rule a prosperous kingdom, because that's his nature and that's what Krishna has something he wants him to do. And also he doesn't want us to all, particularly in the 3rd chapter, Arjuna asked Krishna, if it's true that we're spiritual and that intelligent person doesn't try to satisfy material desires, then why do you want me to fight this war? And Krishna said that there are people who are actually completely free, like Krishna himself, Name partasti kartavyam, that we were saying here. He doesn't have to do anything. Lord Rama doesn't have to come, and if he wanted to kill Ravana, he could just send any demigod to go kill Ravana if he wanted to. He doesn't have to do it himself, but he does it for his own pleasure, for his own pastimes, and also for us to remember him. So Krishna says that the person who's really free, they still should set a good example for others, not just that everybody immediately becomes a sannyasi, because he's saying most people are not purified enough to live that kind of way as externally as a person in the renounced order. And so he doesn't tell Arjuna, he says that people who prematurely renounce, but while they're still thinking of enjoying their senses, they're a disturbance, they're pretenders, he says. And they shouldn't do that, but it's better to regulate your senses by accepting the principles of religious life, like at least you should get married and have children, have a family. Don't go out becoming a woman hunter, And there are principles of life. So how to balance is, Krishna says, Yat karoshi, yat ashnashi, yat juhoshi tadasi, yat tapasyasi konteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. The principles of life are that we should give some charity, we should give perform some sacrifice, we should cultivate spiritual knowledge, we should do all those things. These are principles of religious life. And society is set up in such a way that we can contribute to our society, to our family, to our nation, and in different ways. But also we should find a way to offer everything to Krishna. That's what he says. Tat kurushvamada arpanam. Make it an offering to me, what you eat. For example, devotees offer their food, and it's a very easy habit to get into, and it's a very, very beneficial habit. Krishna says in chapter 3 again, that those who prepare the food and eat it just for their own satisfaction without offering it to Krishna, they're eating sin, actually. But those who eat the remnants of sacrifice, in chapter 4, he says that they proceed to the transcendental destination. That there's a cycle in the world of how the world is supposed to work. This is, well known throughout the Vedas. So Krishna says he gave various sacrifices along with the creation of the world. The Lord of all beings gave sacrifices, and the humans satisfy the demigods by performing sacrifices, and the demigods also satisfy the humans. They're interdependent, actually. It's not like they're just on a higher plane, and they actually require sacrifices from us. Of course, they're satisfied if we sacrifice Krishna. If we sacrifice for Krishna, they're satisfied by that sacrifice too. But just like by watering the root of the tree, it satisfies all the leaves and branches. So to balance our lives, what we have to do is, yes, we have to perform our duty. We have to take care of our families. We have to take care of our parents, our elderly parents, our children, our wives, and so forth. Perform our profession, earn a living. But we should take some of that money that we're earning to support the Sankirtan movement. In the age of Kali, the sacrifice that is prescribed for us to do, we can't any longer go have these huge, filled baseball stadiums full of, and have these different types of brahmanas offering things into the fire, and then have the demigods come and things like that. But we can't do that anymore in this age. We're not wealthy enough to do that. But it's even better. There's a special benediction for this age, that if we can organize that people can go, and they could do this, go to a stadium and have a Harinam Kirtan, a big Kirtan in the stadium. That's just like they go and they see the Rolling Stones or the, Lizzo or somebody, right, doing a performance on a stage. But if they come and they see pure devotees chanting the holy names, and they call in responsive chanting, or sometimes Christians do, they come and they sing hallelujah and whatever they're praising. That's very beneficial. So we should help this Sankirtan movement. And Srila Prabhupada's guru told him to publish books and distribute these books. If someone comes and hears a lecture, they hear something and then they'd go away. They may be inspired while they're there, but then they very quickly forget. But if they can make it a habit of reading these books, so that's part of it. You can find in your day some time to chant Hare Krishna mantra. It takes to chant one round, it takes, 7 minutes or something like that. So you chant as many rounds as you can, but make a steady goal to not chant below that many rounds. And hopefully you can chant up to 16 rounds. The minimum. The Lord Chaitanya wouldn't eat at the home of one who didn't chant 64 rounds a day. And that was the standard for sannyasis that Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta established in Gaudiya Math, 64 rounds every day. But for the householders, they could chant less. And Srila Prabhupada, when he was a householder, he would chant 4 after waking up, and 4, I don't remember, but 4 after breakfast, and 4 after lunch, and 4 before bed or something, and he would have so you chant for half an hour 4 times a day. What? The Muslims are chanting 5 times a day, namaz, so that couldn't be too hard. That's not too big of a thing to chant 16 rounds. And if you chant 16 rounds, we have Prabhupada's guarantee, and it's ironclad, that your life will become so much wonderful if you can just chant 16 rounds a day. But if you can't, if you need some balance, and that seems like a lot of time because of your mind is engaged in other things and you don't have so much of a taste or whatever, chant 4 every day or 2 every day until you can become steady at that and then progress. And, like tonight, you come to the temple, so make it some regular thing that you can come meet with devotees, read Prabhupada's books, or, books by bona fide pure devotees. Don't try to read commentaries by non-devotees. They're considered to be poisonous, honestly. So read books by actual faithful devotees of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is full of verses where Krishna tells Arjuna that you can understand there's a mystery here in my instruction. You can understand that mystery because you're my devotee. He says in the 18th chapter, don't even try to explain this to someone who's not a devotee. They're not qualified. And yet, Srila Prabhupada says sometimes the devotees hold an open class and people come and they can become qualified just by hearing attentively without offense. But so that's what you do. You go on with your life, and we should think. I mean, this is hard in our age and everything, but we should think about our retirement. That so many people in the United States, the elderly men, they go to live in a retirement community where they can play shuffleboard or something like that, and just live out their past days, like sort of used up, trying to enjoy a little more before they die, a little more tasteless material things. But actually, Vedic system is that we should use the latter part of our life, especially for intensely dedicating ourselves to God. So and the sannyas ashram in the varnashram system is meant for that, or at least the vanaprastha ashram is meant for that at some point you don't have to, your kids are grown up and they can earn the money now and whatever. They need to be promoted. You can then spend your time actually worshiping God and studying the scriptures about God and chanting His holy names more and more intensely, and you could be a good example and give those values, pass those values on to the next generation. So that's actually the Aryan civilization creates that culture for human beings so that we can have that balance. And even those who are extremely advanced, they can follow that just for the sake of teaching others, so that they don't just encourage people to renounce prematurely while they're still not purified enough to renounce. Srila Prabhupada made a lot of sannyasis who were young because he needed to spread the movement quickly, but some of them fell down. And he didn't chase them away, they were his disciples. He told them, okay, you can fight stronger if you're married. You can go get married, you can go back to school. Pushta Krishna went back and became a doctor. He'd been a sannyasi for Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada approved that. It's not really nice, it's considered a great transgression for a sannyasi to go back. But for preaching, he made young sannyasis, and then he often told us that he regretted it. But we should, when we get old and we see our grandchildren's children and our hair turns gray, and we should be, by that time, if we've been chanting all our lives and everything, we should be ready to live a life of sort of intense dedication to spiritual things, and we don't need to play shuffleboard or golf or watch television or whatever. Okay? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Happy Diwali, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If somebody is looking for their phone, it's with me.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, can we get everybody seated? So, and then you can also make a line to offer the lamp to the deities.
You take.
Where do you want to
Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Yashodabhiyoluka Radhavamana Paramristamatyanta Todritya Gopya Yashodabhiyoluka Radhavamana Paramristamatyanta Todritya Gopya Rudantamohurnetra Yugmamrijanta Paramojayugamena Satankanetra Rudantamohurnetra Yugmamrijanta Paramojayugamena Satankanetra Muhushvasakam Praptirekankakhanda Stitagraiva Damodaram Bhaktibhadha Muhushvasakam Praptirekankakhanda Stitagraiva Damodaram Bhaktibhadha Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana इति दृष्ट्वा स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम् इति दृष्ट्वा स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तम् आख्यापयन्तम् तदीशिताग्नेषु भक्तैर्जिता त्वां पुनः प्रेमतस्तां सता वृत्तिवन्दे तदीशिताग्नेषु भक्तैर्जिता त्वां पुनः प्रेमतस्तां सता वृत्तिवन्दे वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरिषदपिह वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षावधिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरिषदपिह इदं तेव पुरनाथ गोपाल बाला सदा मे मनस्य विरास्तां किमन्ये इदं देव पुरनाथ गोपाल बाला सदा मे मनस्य विरास्तां किमन्ये इदं देव पुरनाथ गोपाल बाला सदा मे मनस्य विरास्तां किमन्ये इदं ते मुखाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनील ऋतां कुण्डलैः स्निग्धैः रक्तैश्च गोप्या इदं ते मुखाम्बोजम् अत्यन्तनील ऋतां कुण्डलैः स्निग्धैः रक्तैश्च गोप्या मनस्य वीरास्तां हालां लक्षलाभे मुहुश्चुम्बितां बिम्बरक्ता धरा मे मनस्य वीरास्तां हालां लक्षलाभे नमो देव दामोदरानन्त विष्णो प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलभिमग्ना नमो देव दामोदरानन्त विष्णो प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलभिमग्ना कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदिनं वतानो गृहाणि क्षमामज्ञ यद्यक्षिदृश्या कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदिनं वतानो गृहाणि क्षमामज्ञ यद्यक्षिदृश्या कुबेरात्मजो बद्ध मूर्त्यैव यद्वत् त्वया मुचितौ भक्ति भाजौ कृतौ च कुबेरात्मजो बद्ध मूर्त्यैव यद्वत् त्वया मुचितौ भक्ति भाजौ कृतौ च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकामे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेस्ति दामोदरेह तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकामे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मेस्ति दामोदरेह नमस्ते स्तु धाम्ने स्फुराधीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोधरायाथ विश्वस्य धाम्ने नमस्ते स्तु धाम्ने स्फुराधीप्तिधाम्ने त्वामीश्वरां सच्चिदानन्दरूपां रसत्कुण्डलां गोकुले व्रजमाना यशोदाभियोलुक राधवमाना हरामृस्तामात्यन्त सोदृत्य गोप्या हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Four minutes. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Mahaprabhu, Jaya Mahaprabhu, Jaya Mahaprabhu, Jaya Mahaprabhu. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Ananta Dev, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Ananta Dev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya. Radha Radha Daine, Radha Radha Daine, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha, Shilatankan Khalaye, Shilatankan Khalaye, Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha, Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha. Bahir Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha, Bahir Narsimha, Hridaye Narsimha, नरसिंहमतिं शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमतिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरेणकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गाम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे गीता नरहरिरूपा जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We welcome you all to this very special Sunday Feast program, and we wish you from here at ISV a very, very happy Diwali. And we're very happy to see this turnout today. And we specifically thank His Grace Akurnath Prabhu for giving the Bhagavad Gita class today. This is a special month of Damodar. This is Kartik month, and so every evening we sing the Damodar Arti, and today's Damodar Arti was led by Her Grace Sukeshwari Mataji, followed by the Nishinga prayers by Srivatsa. There you go. At 7:30, we will be having another arti, a final darshan of their lordships, and we will be singing the Gopi Gita from Srimad Bhagavatam to them as well. We have a very special announcement for Motel Gita. If
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We just have an article on Back to Godhead magazine. Do you have the book? And it just happens to be November, December issue, and it's Motel Gita. I like to and and it mentions how ISV started from little storefront with Vashika Prabhu's and Mayapur Bihari idea, putting books in motels. And it just happened that I owned a motel, a 20-room motel. So we started from this motel, and now we have put from small motel to all around the America. We have put about 500,000 books. And from a small idea, it goes all the way. So, and if you don't have this issue, and it's Back to Godhead, and it took about 5 to 6 years in doing this. And I'd just like to thank Nandan Kishori Devidasi, who wrote this article. And it also shows how Vaishaka Prabhu's given us the idea and leader how to do things. And from a small thing, from union, and now we have this kind of temple. So we have to act from a small things to a big thing. So big things can happen just like this. And I really thank everybody, especially Mayapur Bihari Das. Akrunath Prabhu and I, and we used to go to conventions in Florida, Chicago, and we used to have some orders for like 10,000, 12,000, 18,000. Now we're getting all over the place. I just came from Canada, and in Canada I just happened to stay at a motel. Sure enough, there was a Bhagavad Gita book. I was in Quebec in Canada, Toronto as well. Sure enough. And the funny thing is I was in Bombay staying at the Hyatt, and I couldn't believe it that the Hyatt had a Bhagavad Gita book in that room. So naturally I went to see the manager, and I told him it's not a complaint, and I just wanted to thank him personally. So he gave me a business card, and he said, I like to put Bhagavad Gita books in all the Hyatts. He says it's independently owned, but we will try. So I just like to thank everybody. If you don't have the issue, just buy the issue. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
These BBT magazines are so painstakingly put together, and they're full of beautiful, beautiful articles. And if you'd like to sign up for a subscription, please walk over to the book table here in the corridor, and somebody over there at the book table would be glad to help you. Or if you'd like to specifically read that article, you can go have purchase the magazine there as well. Are there any newcomers who are coming to ISV today for the first time? Regular. Any newcomers? Well, we welcome you all back, and we'll chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you have any questions regarding our programs or any special events or festivals that are going to be happening at ISV, please feel free to contact me, and there are flyers with our regular timings and other event schedules as well. Tomorrow there will be a program starting at 5 p.m. of Govardhan Puja. We'll be having a Govardhan Hill to celebrate Govardhan Puja. There will be Kirtan, there will be Damodar Arti. Please come. There will also be Srila Prabhupada Appearance Day happening next week, and the schedule will be sent out. Now for cooks.
Hare Krishna. Today's prasadam was cooked by Siddhakata Prabhu, Savarna Gopika Mataji, Bhakta Vatsa Prabhu, Mukta Mataji, Hema Mataji, Shraddha Mataji, Niharika, Veda Shri Mataji, Tadya Seva Prabhu, and more. And today's cleaner is Naveen Prabhu.
Prasadam will be served as regular in the parking lot after prasadam prayers. Sharira Vidyaja जोड़ेंद्रियता है का सगोरे धर्मदि जीवायति लोभो मोय सुधर्मति ताखिजिता कोटिना संसारे कृष्ण बोरो दयामय तोरी बारे जीवा जाय सप्रसाय दंडलीनो बाय सेयनामृता पाओ श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेम रखो दैतन्यानीता प्रेम रखो श्री चैतन्य निताय माँ प्रसादे गोविंदे नाम ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे सब पुण्यवतम राजन विश्वासोन्नत जायते प्रसादे सर्व दुःखानां हानिरासो प्रजायते प्रसन्न चेतसो यशु बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्यते त्वयोपभुज्य शतन्दा वासलङ्कारचर्चिता उद्दिश्य भोजिनो दासस्तवमायं जयमणि Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasadam Queen, please come take prasadam.